Before this class, I saw myself as a pretty socially and politically aware person. I knew that media lacked representations of minority groups and that these minority groups were not often seen on the screen, and when they were being seen through stereotypes that are not true at all. Now, after completing the coursework for this class, I see myself as an even more socially and politically aware person. I learned new things and became more aware of the lack of representation of certain groups of people in today's society through the materials that were presented, the assignments that I completed, and through the discussions that were had with my classmates and podmates throughout this class. Today, representation in media is different than it was a decade ago. But unfortunately, people are still being stereotyped, stigmatized, and misrepresented. For example, African Americans, specifically male African Americans, are still being portrayed as dangerous and or are dehumanized in different medias, especially in news media like news outlets and news stations. Different races, sexualities, genders, etc. Find it hard to identify with people that they see on the screen because of how few representations of themselves they find in film and television shows. However, at least it's better than it was a decade ago, when there was even less representation of these minority groups. Hopefully in the future, media is headed towards an even more positive representation of minority groups. I hope to see more races, religions, sexualities, genders, and viewpoints seen in a normalized, positive light. I'm optimistic that more people will be represented, but I'm also pessimistic because of America's current social and political state. We have a president that doesn't agree with the lifestyles of many of the misrepresented and underrepresented communities in our country. Just this week, Alabama has refused to air the cartoon Arthur because it included a same-sex marriage. How ridiculous that our country still has not completely separated church from state, something that our Constitution claims is a right, and that's why we left England or Britain, you know. I'm scared more things will be censored in states like Alabama, and people's, specifically children, won't be able to receive the education they need to understand the different oppressed and underrepresented groups in America today. My beliefs prior to coming into this course are pretty much the same that they are now that I completed the course. I strongly believe minority communities need to be represented more in today's media, and that our beliefs as a whole country need to be more accepting and welcoming towards these misrepresented and underrepresented communities. I knew that white, straight, cis people had the privilege in the Western world, and I wanted to see that be changed, and I want that even more so now. Going forward, though, I know I will have strong opinions of the ways in which minority groups are portrayed in the media. I will remember to view media with a grain of salt and recognize that I, a straight, cis, white female, have privileges that many other people in this country do not have. Looking at film and television shows, I look forward to expanding my watch list and watch things that include characters that I don't necessarily identify with. I want to expose myself to different views and different lifestyles. Next, I look forward to working on changing the views of other people. I want to educate more people about the lack of representation and the misrepresentation of certain communities. And I want to urge people to watch films and television shows that they wouldn't normally watch. I want to I want to influence people to step out of their comfort zones and to expose themselves to different communities that don't get as much representation in today's society. Misrepresentation is still a material that stands out to me from our coursework. It stands out to me because of the fact that women are highly manipulated to see themselves differently based on present images of women on the screen. This documentary really showed me the dangers of media representation and the harm it can do to a woman's self-esteem and self-identity. 13th also sticks out to me because of the unfair disadvantages that Black Americans suffer purely because of the color of their skin. This documentary infuriated me and made me even more ashamed of America's history and current state regarding the lives of Black people. I look forward to a day when women and Black people will be just as privileged as the straight white male in America. An assignment that really stands out to me is Pitch 1 because of the fact that we all had to look at our favorite TV shows and recognize the weaknesses that these TV shows or movies had in representation. I also liked the selected media assignment because it allowed us to find our own shows and movies filled with representation or lack of representation. These two assignments helped me think more critically and helped me broaden my watch list by reading and viewing my podmates' assignments. Reading my classmates' responses throughout the semester helped me see different points of views and see the different levels of education and education on misrepresentation and underrepresentation of the minority communities in America. I learned many things from my classmates and enjoyed watching a lot of them along with myself grow in knowledge on these communities. Reading these responses also allowed me to see points of views that I wouldn't usually see. They provided me with different perspectives and allowed me to look at situations in a different light. I never would have gotten these perspectives if I wasn't in this class because everyone had something different to offer to the discussions that took place every week. All in all, I'm very thankful for this class. I learned a lot and strengthened my education on misrepresentation or underrepresentation of minority communities. As I'm graduating this Saturday, this course was the perfect one to end my honors career with. It helped me see how well my liberal arts degree educated and informed me of different communities and perspectives from my own, and also prepared me to look at media representations more skeptically.